Hello, everyone. That's a challenging shift to make from a cool, fun beer brand to a serious organic milk brand. But I'm here today to talk to you about how value-based marketing can help in retention. But before we get started, any customers in the crowd? So nice to know. Thank you. Um, So when we talk about, the common retention levers, these would be some of the levers that we would speak of. What's on the screen right now? Yeah, excellent customer service, very good onboarding experience, SMS marketing, loyalty program, and all of these work, right? When done right, when done effectively, all of these will give us good results. So when you look at a subscription-based category, anything that is in the subscription space, a very good retention rate is anywhere between 30 to 40%. Yes, 40% is considered gold standard in a subscription category, right? And all of that happens with what we spoke about in the previous slide. But what if I tell you that there are a couple of levers that we have worked with, a couple of value levers, and those levers may be unconventional in nature. It might be uncharted territory, sometimes very difficult to execute, sometimes may require a lot of resources, might be expensive, sometimes not so expensive. But if done right, the retention rate of those levers, of those cohorts, can be phenomenally higher than what we're looking at. So what you see on the left, the first four are your typical acquisition channels, right? Where it can be on ground, it can be digital, it can be through word of mouth, organic that is happening. And these are those cohorts and the retention rate of those cohorts, right? The industry average is sitting in between, which is anywhere between 35 to 40%, right? And what you're seeing on the right side are the two value levers that I'm here to speak of. Two value levers that were executed at Akshayakalpa, which have given the kind of results that you're seeing on screen. So before we move forward, a quick introduction to the ones here who don't know about Akshayakalpa. We are an organic dairy brand. We've been around for the last 14 years. We have an omni-channel presence. 45% of Akshayakalpa sales happens on its app, which is a direct-to-consumer app. Another 45% happens through your HLA channels, Swiggy, Instamart, all of those. And 8 to 10% on retail. So that's where we are. In terms of revenues, we are at 300 crore average run rate right now. So that's who we are. So before speaking about the first value lever, I want to set a little bit of context on who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do. Another question to the audience. How many of you are from farmer families? Your fathers, forefathers were farmers, your ancestors? Okay. How many of you have farmlands that you're not cultivating right now? It's just lying there. Yeah. So this is a problem, right? The average age of farmers in India today is 50. Young farmers are leaving farming because it's not a viable profession anymore. They can't earn sitting in the villages the way we earn sitting in cities. So they're abandoning at a devastating rate. There's a research to say that over 2,000 farmers leave farming every single day, right? So that's one big problem that we're sitting on. And the second problem is that in the last 40 years, 2/3 of arable land, which is land on which you can cultivate, has been destroyed across the globe, right? So if this continues in the next 30, 40 years, we'll have no farmers, we'll have no farmland, and we'll have no one to grow our food and nowhere to grow our food, right? So now this is the problem Akshayakalpa has been working with, and this is a problem we're trying to solve for. And when we tried to solve for this, the first thing we asked ourselves is, what can we do to make sure that farmers have a daily source of income? How can he earn every single day? And through that, how can we make sure that his income over a period of time increases? And that's where we stumbled upon dairy. We said, if he's doing this right, and if we are able to produce possibly the highest quality of milk in the country, he will be able to earn well, right? So this is the purpose of the organization. This is the why that we have articulated, where we believe that the decades of wrong that has been done to food and farmers needs to be corrected, and we exist right there to make it right, right? Now, what have we done? We've done many things, but what we have achieved is what I'll quickly speak about. An average farmer who started working with Akshayakalpa started at 20,000 rupees per month. That was his average income. In the last 14 years of working with him, we've brought it up to 1 lakh rupees per month. The average Akshayakalpa farmer earns 1 lakh rupees per month. The average age of Akshayakalpa farmer is 35. We are able to retain young farmers in the villages. And 40% of Akshayakalpa farmers are people who have gone back. They have reverse migrated. They had come to city for gig economy, to become drivers, to become delivery agents, and they have gone back to the farms, right? So this is what we have achieved on the farm side, on the farmer side. On the farmland side, so this whole thing about soil carbon, basically, like to make it simple, when there is carbon in the soil, we don't want it in the atmosphere, we want it in the soil. But ironically, we have a lot of it in the atmosphere and very little in the soil. So the carbon, soil carbon level in the Amazon rainforest is 7.8%, which is again gold standard for soil carbon, right? When we started with Akshayakalpa farms, it was at 1%. We've now brought it to 3.6%. Across the globe, it's around 1%. And if it keeps falling, there'll be more and more desertification that happens across the globe, something that we are trying to change. And that's what we have achieved on the soil side. The yield has gone up at Akshayakalpa farms. We did a survey in 14 years back where we checked the yield of our coconut trees. 55 nuts per tree per annum was where it was at. And today it's at 89 nuts per tree per annum. So that's what we have achieved in terms of yield increase. So why am I speaking about all this at a retention conference? Why is this important? And why would a consumer who's living in the city, busy with her own life, care about all this, right? So we believe that we all should care about it. The food system is broken, and there's a need for all of us to start getting connected with food and connect with food strongly. So that's where the first value lever comes in. We have a farm visit. We call it the Good Food Movement, where we've been taking customers back to our farms. They come, they spend 2 days. You can stay over there. We have tent facility for people to stay and understand everything that we're doing at a farm level. Extremely transparent backend. You come, you see, you understand. And only then you can decide whether you want to buy from us, you want to continue to buy from us, or you want to go back and talk about us to anyone else, right? So this is the program that we launched about 2 years back. What it does is, when you speak about organic, there's a lot of apathy towards this category. People don't believe organic, like India may, like, that's the thought, right? Like anything can be pulled off, right? So this kind of validates that story. It's a very see it to believe it sort of an experience that we create. The second one is it helps to build gratitude. Culturally, we have always said, Annadata Sukhi Bhava. And this line came back to my life when my 4-year-old, in his school, they say this just before having lunch, which means that, the one who grew my food and the one who brought that food to me, let him live a happy life, right? And with so many of us moving to the city, moving away from the source of food, we have lost that connection with people who grow our food. And this farm visit program builds that connection. It takes you one step closer to the ones who are growing our food. And it ensures that the customers feel secure about the food that they're putting on the plate for their families. End of the day, it's a responsibility of all of us, right? What we put on the table for our families is our responsibility, and it makes you feel more confident about it. So let's talk a few numbers. So in the last 2 years, we've mobilized over 10,000 customers to come to our farm to spend 2 days to understand this process. And this particular cohort that we're talking about, the retention rate of this cohort is 70%. So this is the first value lever that I wanted to speak of to you. So the second one, So while we did all this in the back end, we're very proud of all the work that we do. We have a closed loop farm. We have a zero discharge facility. Our farm consumes everything that it produces other than the products that we bring to the city. We were very guilty of what we were doing in the front end. We were sending our products in plastic. We were sending it in plastic pouches. And for all you know, that was ending up in the landfill, right? And we were very guilty of that. So last year, April 21st, World Earth Day, we launched a program called Let's Give Back the Milk Pack, where we started asking customers to give the milk packets back to us. So in this program, basically, so our advantage is that if you are an Akshayakalpa customer and you're buying it through our app, we come to your doorstep every single day, right, to drop off the milk. And if I can do that, I can take the milk packet also back from you every single day. But we partnered with our customers. We said, you have to rinse, dry, and give it back to us. And once you do that, we will take it and recycle it. So how was it built? So it was driven from the top. Our founder is very passionate about anything to do with sustainability. And he said, this has to be done. And we're not looking at this as an initiative, that's just going to last a certain time period. It's become a part of Akshayakalpa. For as long as we're going to exist, we're going to take the milk packets back from our customers. So that's the vision with which we started this program, which meant that all the processes that we built from there on has been built for eternity, right? Like, that's how we thought about it. There was a strong internalization that happened. Like, around the same time that we launched this program, a group of us went to a landfill, which is the Mandur landfill that you're seeing, which is very close to Bangalore, just to feel what this problem is about, right? And when we went there from afar, as we entered, it just felt like just another hillock. And as we went closer and closer, we realized that it's not a hillock, it's a landfill. It's just full of plastic. And we spent, I think, about 2 hours over there, and we came back, like I came back feeling very sick about the overconsumption that our generation is doing and the problem that we're all creating. So we all internalized it, we spoke about it, we got frustrated about it, and we said, no, this has to be done, this has to be part of what we do at Akshayakalpa. We have launched a neighborhood cleanliness drive, which is once a month, we clean around our office. We go around and we all pick waste, garbage that is lying on the roads. It helps us to ruminate. It annoys us that, something that we cleaned 1 month back is already dirty again. Like, people are just doing what they're doing, but it's making us to stop and think about it. It's making us to stop and worry about it. So the team which is working on this does all of this and thinks about it all the time. We have a very strong focus team to execute. The delivery team, which has been delivering milk, is also collecting this back, and they are committed to this cause. And then we partnered with the customers. We did not incentivize them to give the milk packets back to us. We said, this is something that has to be done. Give it to us, and we'll recycle it responsibly. And as you can see, this is a couple of social media posts of how when they started doing it, they also started getting a little obsessed with it. There's someone who's drying it like they would dry clothes, or someone has collected, I think, a month of milk packets and he's drying it on a terrace. The other thing is that we took our commitment forward. The new products that we started launching after that, we're trying to see if we can launch in compostable packaging. There's no need to sell fruits and vegetables, for example, in plastic, right? So we have shifted to coir and leaf packaging. So if you order on our app, you'll see that your fruits and vegetables come this way. So some results of this value lever. So in 1.5 years, 19,000 kg of plastic our customers have given back to us that we have recycled. Over 25% of Akshayakalpa customers who are buying it on their app are recycling. It has built tremendous channel stickiness. If you are an Akshayakalpa customer buying on the app and tomorrow you decide to, let's say, buy it from a retail outlet, you cannot recycle. You will have to come back to the app to recycle. So people who get used to this want to keep coming back to the app to recycle. And the retention rate of this cohort is 83%. That's the retention rate. So the world is moving in this direction. People want to be eco-conscious. If you make it a little easy for them as brands, they will stick to you. They will want to come back to you. So the key takeaways for me, what I want to leave you all with, is be sure of the why of your brand, the purpose with which you exist. Be very sure of it. Like we've spent like good 2 years almost now to articulate it in the right way. And find ways to connect your customers to it. You know, we always heard that farmers, customers may not care about farmers, but we don't want to stop at that. We keep experimenting and we keep trying to find ways to connect our customers to the farmer story that we have. And convert these value levers that the organization is building, convert those into brand building levers, and be authentic through it all. Like if you do all this and do something else that seems like it's greenwashing, you'll just lose, you know, the trust that you've earned from your customers. So that's us, that's Akshayakalpa, and those are the two value levers I wanted to leave you with. We have a conversations corner right outside at the end of the aisle. Lot of good food being served over there, a lot of Akshayakalpa products being served. So please come and chat with us. Any questions, we'll be very happy to answer.
And we're open to questions if anyone has.
Madam, hello here.
Yes, yes, sir.
You were mentioning about 3.6% carbon and 70% yield, what you have achieved. Those numbers are still with your further ideas and all. Yes. Can it be, yield can be increased, higher, yes, and carbon can be lower?
Carbon has to keep increasing in the soil. So the 3.6%, our aim is to keep taking it towards the 7.8.
Not carbon footprint, no?
Not carbon footprint, the soil carbon.
Okay.
Basically, carbon should be in the soil. And we are working, we're doing many things, many interventions to increase the soil carbon.
That means it has to increase?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, first of all, congratulations on a lovely presentation and building a great brand which has great stickiness. As you guys have diversified into multiple other products, I'll give you a use case of myself. At home, we buy Akshayakalpa milk every day, and we've been doing this since the pandemic, at least since 2021, I would say 2020. But I was not aware of the range of the other products. And at the same time, I'm struggling and looking all around for, let's say, eggs that are free range, yeah, which I can trust. Yeah. But I didn't know till this morning when I saw the eggs out here that is not there. So I want to know, how are you addressing this problem? Because you say app everything. I don't have the app. My wife has the app. Yeah. But I'm trying to look. So how are you addressing this problem so that you can cross-sell and upsell beyond the milk into the other products and get a much larger share of wallet for that?
Yeah, so it is a problem which we don't have concrete answers for right now. We are trying. There are a couple of steps that we're taking. But yeah, that is a struggle. 95% of people who know about Akshayakalpa know only about milk and possibly curd. And the other categories that we keep adding, our customers are still unaware of. Yeah, so that's a marketing challenge that we are trying to address. Because we don't do ATL, we don't do television, we don't do radio print. So yeah, so that's something
I also had a thought when I was sitting there. I said your marketing, what do you say, real estate is the milk packet. So can you take 25% of the face of the milk packet and start advertising the other products?
That's a good idea, yes. Yeah.
Hi, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
So all of the cohort or the first value lever, for example, you've spoken of, they are very, they are very concentrated and they are very, it's more or less offline, right? So when it comes to scaling or growing these value levers, how do you look at scaling these things?
So there are two ways to look, especially the first value lever, there are two ways to look at it, right? Maybe, let's say 2% of my overall audience will actually come and visit the farm, right? It will possibly not be more than that. But if the other 60-70% is watching videos of these 2% coming to the farm and experiencing what they're experiencing, I've done my job, right? So while I'm only able to attract a small portion, I'm creating content out of that, putting that content out there to build trust. So I may not go travel 150 kilometers outside of Bangalore to go see this, but I know someone else has gone and someone else has done the validation, and I'm okay to trust that validation.
Interesting. Thank you.
The pink person.
Waiting so long. One question about the retention here. The percentage that you showed us were after you started both the levers and put them into application. What was your retention before the levers came into place? So what was the growth in retention?
So if I compare it with the normal retention rate, that we are around 35-36%. So these are this is specific to the recycling cohort and the farm visit cohort. Those are the rates, and all are M12. Recycling actually very interestingly, even at M17. So once it hits that 82-83%, it stabilizes at that rate. Yeah.
Just another question about the farm visits and all. The people who've already logged into your app, they are in a way converted to the organic way of life. That is only when they'll probably, log into there. Either they'll go to you, or as a general behavior, probably go to a competitive brand who's already into organic. So having farm visits for that cohort, isn't it less productive for you because they're already converted to that way of life? So probably opening up those visits for people who are not very well versed, or like you said, in India we don't trust the word organic so much ki sab chalta hai. Wouldn't that be a much more lucrative thing to kind of expand your base as well?
Absolutely. So that's what we're doing right now. We are launching new events. Like, for example, in October, World Food Day is coming. And that's an event where we've opened it up to, actually it's open always to anybody. We want to attract more and more non-customers because we can tell that story to them. But also, so that becomes an acquisition strategy, right? Like, we can talk about that as well. But interesting that even if you've onboarded and then you came at some point, you became you wanted to know more and you came to the farm, that helps in stickiness as well. So
Thank you.
WebEngage. Retention simplified.